Sisters and brothers of America, it fills my heart with joy unspeakable to rise in response to the warm and cordial welcome which you have given us. I thank you in the name of the most ancient order of monks in the world. I thank you in the name of the mother of religion.
Vanakkam. After about 3.5 years of stay in America and Europe, Swami Vivekananda reached the small village of Pamban near Rameshwaram on the evening of the 26th of January 1897. It was a triumphant return, not the triumph of an army or a navy, but the triumph of a soul, the triumph of a universal soul. From Pamban to Rameshwaram and Ramanathapuram, and then via Paramakudi, Manamadurai and Madurai, the young sannyasi reached Kumbakonam. On the occasion of Swamiji's visit to the temple town of Kumbakonam, 2 welcome addresses were accorded to him. One by the local people in general and the other by the students of the town. Excerpts from the former are as follows. I quote, "On behalf of the Hindu inhabitants of this ancient and religiously important town of Kumbakonam, we request permission to offer you a most hearty welcome on your return from the Western world to our own holy land of great temples and famous saints and sages. We are highly thankful to God for the remarkable success of your religious mission in America and in Europe, and for His having enabled you to impress upon the choicest representatives of the world's great religions assembled at Chicago that both the Hindu philosophy and religion are so broad and so rationally Catholic as to have in them the power to exalt and to harmonize all ideals of God and of human spirituality. It is to this address that Swamiji responded with his glorious lecture on the mission of Vedanta. The Bhagavad Gita categorically pronounces that any good work has larger effects. Swamiji aligns this sentiment with his own deeds and position. His long lecture on the mission of Vedanta starts thus, quote, "A very small amount of religious work performed brings a large amount of result. If this statement of the Gita wanted an illustration, I am finding every day the truth of that great saying in my humble life," unquote. As Swamiji goes on further to appreciate the cordiality and the affection shown to him from Colombo to Kumbakonam, he further pinpoints at the harmony and the homogeneous religiosity of the Indian and the Bharatiya style of life. Talking of the affection shown, Swamiji states, quote, "Yet at the same time, it is worthy of our traditions as Hindus. It is worthy of our race. For here we are, the Hindu race whose vitality, whose life principle, whose very soul, as it were, is in religion. I have seen a little of the world, traveling among the races of the East and the West, and everywhere I find among nations one great ideal which forms the backbone, so to speak, of that race. With some, it is politics. Again, with others, it is social culture. Others again may have intellectual culture and so on. But this motherland has religion, and religion alone for its basis, for its backbone, for the bedrock upon which the whole building of its life has been based. Unquote. Expanding further, Swamiji makes a significant comparison. He deals at length with the apparent lack of interest amongst Indian people in information and in acquiring such information. Indian people have always been accused of their inadequacy in historic documentation and chronicling. Even today, we do not know the dates of several of our rulers. We do not know the date of birth of Rajaraja Chola, of Rajendra Chola, and even the dates of our saints and sages. There seems to have been a constant lack of thirst amongst us for information. Drawing on this apparition, Swamiji compares the wisdom base that even our farmers banked on. The farmers, at that point of time, as Swamiji narrates of his experience in Colombo and Kumbakonam, the farmers did not even care to know. They did not know, and they did not even care to know of the political upheavals in Europe and other countries. But Swamiji reiterates that they knew of the Parliament of Religions in America and also knew that an Indian sannyasi had participated in the same with success. And now Swamiji derives his inference. It is not that the Indian race did not want information, but it cared for information of religion and of spirituality, and not for information on power, authority, fight, supremacy, and war. In other words, the Indians did not care for matters related to ego and ahankara. Their care and quest were for harmony and will continue to be for harmony. Friends, we should remember this carnal focus that Swamiji so vividly brought into limelight in this very town of Kumbakonam. Our people have never cared for matters of impermanence, matters that may change during the course of time. The Indian emphasis had always been on harmony and cooperation. It is the focus on inclusiveness and not on factional pulls of exclusiveness. It is the focus on togetherness and not on separation. It is the focus on fusion and not on fission. In fact, Swamiji himself reiterates the fact, observing that it may not be feasible to go into the merits and demerits of the system at this stage of a long heritage. He envisions that this will be the line of life and the line of well-being for our country. It is at this point that we need to clearly understand the meaning of the term religion as used by Swamiji. Today, we use this term to indicate one or other of the systems of beliefs that are prevalent across the globe. However, the word merely means the belief or faith in God and the activities connected thereof. Religare is a Latin term, and in Latin it means binding or to be bound. The Old French and the subsequent English terms religion have derived from this Latin term, and they indicate obligation or reverence, especially in association with a bondage. Once this true meaning of the term religion is understood, our perspective of what the Swamiji emphasized upon would also widen. It is with the same idea that Swamiji, in his lecture at Kumbakonam, elaborated on the mission of Vedanta. Quoting the ever-famous Rigveda Mahavakya, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti, Swamiji explains that the Mahavakya has become one with the Indian people. He states that we live that grand truth in every vein, and that our country has become the glorious land of religious toleration. It is with utter faith in Vedanta and in universal tolerance that he connects the growth of civilization with religious toleration. He guides us by hand-holding us on the path of charity. And the first step towards charity, as the Swamiji succinctly puts it, is to look charitably and kindly upon the religious beliefs of others. One other value which the Swamiji exalts in the Kumbakonam lecture is the idea of spiritual oneness of the whole universe. Physics and its sub-disciplines have proved that men, animals, stars, constellations, planets, and the cosmic bodies are all conglomerates of matter, which we call as the Panchabhutas. Much information in this regard has been accumulated after the times of Swamiji. Today, quantum physics has taught us the existence of antimatter, and everything is within the ranges of matter and antimatter. And think of the Indian system. The Indian system places both body and mind as wavelets of the same samashti. It is the matter of ocean or the ocean of matter called samashti. Vedanta even goes one step further. The soul itself is one and the same. There is but one soul throughout the universe. The practical application and the effective operation of this ideal of the oneness of things is the true value that humanity requires today. Friends, it is this ideal that each one of us should imbibe, practice, and disseminate. The last 2 years have taught humanity several lessons. Bits and strands of the so-called RNA, genetic material, in the name of a virus called the SARS-CoV-2, have shaken the very existence of mankind and its surrounds. Why this kind of a situation? Why has a virus done so much? Many of us can today understand that extreme interference and encroachment into the zones of nature by mankind have landed us in this trouble. We are all worried about the health of the members of humanity. We are worried about the health of our kith and kin, of our own people, of human beings. However, it is time for us to understand that the health of the human being is dependent on the health of the animals, on the health of plants, and in total, the health of the earth, the universe, and nature. The dawn of such wisdom leads us to the glory of the universal soul. It is all one but the same soul that Swamiji so emphatically put forth. It makes us comprehend the practical and effective application of Vedanta. 125 years ago, Swami Vivekananda proclaimed the greatness of human values and the necessity to inculcate such values in every human existence. 125 years ago, Swamiji envisaged the mission of Vedanta and thought that Vedanta would be the basis of not mere existence but the growth and development of mankind. After the lapse of 1.25 centuries, we do understand the importance of Swamiji's Upadesha. Let the light of Vedanta and the Vedanti guide us on our path. Vanakkam.